it's only 2:30, but I was laying there and this keeps happening. I keep having weird things in my bedroom. I keep hearing voices and stuff, and then my pillow. It's like, ah. And I just sat up and I was like, okay, I don't hear anything. And then laid down. It's like, oh my God. So I was just like, fuck, I was getting up. So I got up and started looking at TikToks to see. I still haven't seen anybody talking about Wall Street, or I did have somebody in my comments say something about the Iraqi dinar, as they said they bought that dinar a long while ago, and then there's another one too, the dong, the Chinese dong maybe, some other currency that was very oppressed or repressed. And so they bought a whole bunch of that. I had heard that about the dinar from a lot of people. A lot of people invested into that. And so they're all waiting for that. Once it goes way up, then they're going to exchange theirs and they're going to have a shit ton of money off of that. But still, even when you do your exchange, you still got to do it with, you still got to get silver. So you got to have something that's real. Is the dinar, is however they're going to do it. It's, I don't know. I guess they would make it like their currency was so repressed because they were under, liberation, I think was the word I was trying to think of the other day. They're being liberated from America. And the same with Hawaii. Like, we've just gone in and just taken places over under our name. Oh my God. And at the same time, there's so many more people now doing stuff about looking into the hidden history and the babies. And it's, oh my gosh, the whole thing about stork bringing babies, that is all about it. The Cabbage Patch is all about it. The incubator babies, the state fair babies. There's tons of postcards and stuff where there was babies for sale. There was like a little thing like we were freshly made. Like and it seems like if you just try and put together this stuff, it was, there was the mud flood, there was disasters and stuff. There's resets. So whoever these people were before, what people keep talking about, the Tartarians, but there was people who were here before, and they had certain kinds of buildings and stuff. They had a certain style to their buildings that was all over the place. It's all over in America. It was all over, it's just all over the place. And so they associate this now with these people, these Tartarians. And these people had built all this up, and then they got all killed. And then these other people came in and started using the buildings, I guess. I don't know. It's so weird because there's just so much lies and stuff, like they discovered America, like this undiscovered territory, and they went in, but there was these savages, and just their whole story. And then they seem to make all these white people. They were definitely white people. I've even seen other people say that in all the videos and stuff, there's never any other color. No, because they were trying to, like, you think about, I kind of think of these people are like Jewish or something. I don't know what they are, but there's a lot of talk about these Jewish people are these original people. And then when you hear like this Rabbi Finkelstein and stuff, like some of these, the knowledge holders, the ones that hold the hidden truth, I think it is something with Kabbalah and stuff. But the people who hold the hidden truth are, in arrogance, it's arrogance is going to end up hurting them by universal law in the end, because they withheld it. So and not only that, they intentionally tricked a lot of people. So, but it seems like these super rich, like these Rothschilds and stuff, these people who were the original ones to come in and come up with ways to make people pay, the peasants, the farmers, to keep them controlled, so they didn't just go out breeding all over the place. And so there was these certain people who inhabited the planet, but it was almost like they were all different planets. Like if you went to these different places, the people were they were all the same. Like you went to Iraq, they were all the same. You went to India, they were all the same. You went to China, they were all the same. So it's kind of like these tribes of people. And so I'm not sure, because a lot of the tribes have been reluctant to intermingle. That's something that they push on people. And it is like the things I see in it, they're so, it is such a push. And it's certain people and certain personalities that bite onto the lures. It is so much like fishing, man. And knowing your lures. And they're always studying us, they're always figuring them out. So they had, it was like that they didn't want to be outnumbered. And they don't like the darker people. And so I'm not sure, because they had whole entire places, like all of India, all of Turkey. See, when I think about some of these places, I think of them all being dark-skinned people. You don't go there and see light-skinned people, even if they come in all different variants. There's just this other thing about just this white person, And so there's all these different people in all these different countries. And I don't know if they first started trying to do it at other times and they did it in certain parts of Europe. Like, I don't know. Because that one guy was telling me in the comments one time about the difference in the English and the Brits. And it was like they try to reduce them away from their culture, their heritage, kind of like making us call Oriental people Asians, take away their uniqueness to where they're from in the Orient, and start, and then tell us that something's wrong with us for doing that. This version of ourselves that can be manipulated like that. This woke, the SJW version that I don't know. Everybody's got it inside of them. It's all in certain degrees. Some of us manage it better than others. So everybody's got this stuff, but it is, I don't know. It's like a people pleasing. I'm the best one, teacher. Right. I got it right. That personality. And so, and it's just, it's just something where people just want to be liked, just want to be accepted, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. However it comes out is how it comes out, and how things come out triggers us by our own influences through our own lives. So anyways, but it's not like a bad thing to want people to like you, to want to be accepted. It just is, we just have personality deficits and defects in order to try and get what we want. But anyways, so the, Okay, now I've got a bunch of things going. So the people, what was I talking about? Well, maybe I'll come back to it because I feel very lost. But one of the things is, I was looking and I wasn't finding anything about the money thing, like I said, and that there was a lot of other things that people are talking about, lots of political stuff. Like, to me, it is just those people don't know what a scared side of them that they're focused on, and it brings out such a judgmental, hateful side in some of them. Like, man, in some of the people that go into comments are rude as fuck, yeah, but a lot of them aren't even real people. And but I mean, there still is some people ones that are rude as fuck, and it's kind of like that energy of like, well, these other people are doing it, these other people are saying it, so they feel entitled to say it too, when it's these instigators, these bots, these people that are these energies that are placed around that can direct you if you are feeding dark energy, kind of, it seems like to me. Because if you're feeding light energy, it would feel kind of more toxic, like, ugh. So, and I think that, I think a lot of us are getting way more of that, like, ooh, about so many things, like, ooh, yeah, ooh, no, ooh, because that's our frequency changing. What used to be okay, now it's just like, ooh, it's so cringy, oh, no, ooh. It's like you just start seeing things, and it's not intentional. It happens naturally. And that is another one I can't fucking get over. I can't get over how many people think there's literally people going around in the world with no souls. Oh, yeah, back to the people with the fucking train people, the white people. Yeah, look. And then they're saying that, oh, that is why there's all these soulless people. But there has to be energy. It has to have energy to man it. Something has to drive it. There has to be something that gives it life. So there's some kind of an energy. That is what I'm saying, what they're trying to also do with their consciousness. What is that called when you put on like when they do the transplant? And so it's like a conscience. They're trying to do like the same thing with like organ transplants. They're trying to do it with consciousness. And I don't know how advanced they are. Like if they've already done that, if that is a part of, like how we all look like each other. Like you find, that you're going to have 7 other people that look like you or something. There's a lot of weird shit about. So in the back before, where it was just all these different groups, these different tribes, these different beings, and and I don't know, was it all different experiments on different animals? Like they were like, well, let's try this one and see what happens. Let's try this one and see what happens. Like I don't know how they came up with it, why there's any that are different from each other. I don't know where the difference came from. Like, all of the different DNAs and stuff come from different animals and different beings from different places and stuff. Like it's been a lot more multi-galactic experiment thing than than we'd like to think. But so so whatever, at some point they decided that they wanted to make their own creation, and they wanted it controllable. They want it very controllable. That's what they try to remove, like the melanin is to try and make us like these droids. And I think that is, you can see, I think you can tell that there's something with the white people that they get caught. And then the other things that can connect you through your pineal gland and your hair is a connection, your like your heart, the things that you can connect to yourself, to your soul, to the world, to that universal energy is they try and interfere with it. And then they try and distract you, just like, you do with, if you put a bunch of fish in a fish tank in your house, you distract them so that they don't know they're just in a bowl in a house. You put them in put all the stuff inside to trick them, and they don't ask a lot of questions. And that we used to not ask a lot of questions. We used to just, what we were directed by what others thought of us. And we were programmed and indoctrinated and stuff. But you got to remember, it was a part of a really long experiment. It's been a part of a really long witnessing a phenomenon. It's been an important thing. It's an important thing. This, whatever has gone on here with all of this mixing and trying to, because it's something about bringing everyone together. And that is the important part, because of all the differences, just like how where people would stay in their own groups. But there's something about this whole mixing. And everything that they try to do is going to backfire, because just in the same neediness for the created beings, like Frankenstein. And I just watched that too. That's so crazy. So in their created beings need to be loved and accepted, and it would go out into the world, into the cultured world, and look for identity. So they were surrounded by other culture and other people, and so it's like I feel like we were the preliminary AI, what they were trying to do. And they did it with people. So now they're trying to do it with synthetics, and then take consciousness and put it in there. It's all about this weird control of the energy. It's all about energy. Everything's about energy. And so, and you do have people who are just out to pasture. They're just, they're not, they just don't think of themselves in a certain way. I just saw, this is so crazy, because of what's going on in the world. And so this is a religious person, and so they were talking about, this is such a bad thing. All the stuff that is about to happen, there's a lot of people who are going to be dreading it. We think that we're going into being like gods. We're trying to compete with God. We're going into this time where they're going to use technology to keep us alive forever, and all this. There's all this stuff. And the thing is we are going into this really high technology time, where it's way advanced. It was way, way advanced, and they were not. They were withholding it. And so in the beings that gave them all of the technology had said, like, these are all these things are such a push right now, because there's all these lines drawn in the sand, dates, time frames given, and they ran out of time. It's like it's micro, macro, universe, energy, balancing. Stella, can I finish doing this first? Could you just lay down for a minute? Can you just lay down, please? Stella, why do you gotta do this all the time? It's always this Stella show, isn't it? There you go. Do not No. It's 2:51. 2:51. She'll go out there and start barking. It's like, that's not what you do out here. Because some of these people, like, they still have a soul. They just don't have good contact with it. So they do stupid ass shit. A lot of people do stupid ass shit, man. So, anyways, I think that whatever it was that went on, I mean, they literally were making babies in labs and people were okay with it. They were buying them and then using them like for farm, and then like when I think about my grandmas, and how they didn't want anything to do with their families when they grew, as they got older, they just left from their families and had nothing to do with them. And I think about, so I don't know the people or whatever, but I think about the people who would have been back in those days who would have maybe had the farms and stuff. Because a lot of, there was like a lot, it seems like there was a lot of Dutch people, there was Scottish people, Irish people. There was a lot of people who were trying to leave their own places. I mean, some of it was over religion, some of it was over, different issues, but they were leaving their own kind of places. But it seems like there was a lot that were just like super rigid, super, uh, like, I don't know, religious probably, because so many people lived in fear during that time where they didn't understand anything. It definitely, I mean, it's weird how people would go in and pray and stuff, but it's like, but do you sit and talk? Do you talk or you just go and put out orders? Or do you try and, participate and sit and listen and talk? Or do you, as soon as you hear them talk, do you think you're talking to devils and you get scared? Can you not hear him talk because your mind's so corrupted with all of the bullshit and it's so distracted? Like, because that is your time of reflection. It's not a time of just prayer. It is a prayer should be a time of, let's talk, and you don't always get the answers that you want. And I swear, I feel like they tell you that ahead of time too. Like they'll tell you, well, it's not going to go that way. It's not going to happen that way. They'll tell you things. But it's always on a need to know basis. They're not going to just tell you everything. There's a lot of things that you got to just learn how to trust. You got to learn how to. There's so many different lessons that you're doing, that you're learning for yourself. Just like when you start like really understanding the signs, uh, even on that, sometimes you'll be like, well, I don't want to just be dependent on signs. I want to just trust that everything's going to be okay. I don't need a sign every 5 minutes. But sometimes signs will make you feel more connected, more like you can trust or something. So signs, all those kinds of things can help you through your journey. But it is a journey to yourself. It is the journey to you, and there is no God above you. There is, the only thing above you is what you put above you, and it's who you put above you. It's whose opinion, whose thoughts, whose vision that you put above you. You're the only person who can put anybody above you. And so, and I just saw this video that is so good. It is this girl. It's got to go viral. Everybody's got to see this video. It's something like, I don't understand you city girls or something like that. But it's more of, because the cities became the immoral places. The cities became the places where girls decided, taking off their clothes and having sex with married men and having abortions was a good lifestyle. So, anyway, she was speaking to that kind of immoral attitude. And so it's a really good video. I think she says the same things I say, but I just love the way she says them. And then plus she's got like a whole aesthetic that goes, like she's got this thick accent and this, I don't know, it's a good video. I like that. But anyways, I totally agree is that like our society has become like accepted no morals and stuff. It was like they were trying to create this city droid, sex robot, Stepford wife kind of, not Stepford wife, but us all as their Stepford wives is just compliant, dutiful. Go, oh, I've got to get to work. I'm gonna be working late tonight. So everything. And there's so many people too who are putting it together. Like go to work and you work all that time for all the things that you don't have any time to spend with because you're too busy working. So what are you really working for? But you got to put together the pieces to see. And but anyways, there's like so many things. I can't just stay completely stuck on the thing, but it definitely, it's very clearly coming out that there was some sort of empty buildings. Then they started bringing people or doing photo shoots to create a hidden lies about the place. Then they started burning it down. Then they started, but look, their whole thing of just, because this isn't even that long that this has been going in America. It's good that we get to find out we're just a bunch of fucking robot, white droid things that they were trying to create. But that doesn't mean we don't have a soul. Yeah, soul still came into experience what this experience is. Your soul will make the value to your experience. It's you who must give it the value. It's you who has to acknowledge the experience. So it doesn't matter what color, that's a big main thing is we've all got to see, color doesn't matter about anything. And the color, but what was that other thing too? The color doesn't matter because they were, there's so much stuff coming up about this different stuff about um, color, but so it's kind of like this part. It's like these things are introduced into consciousness, into the overall, like we all have our individual consciousness, but there's an overall consciousness, and certain information is introduced into the overall consciousness that goes into, like, some of us are super focused on that consciousness. Depends on what your focus is, what you pay attention to. But it's like they introduce these things to make it about a conversation or whatever. But then, but it's like this other side of it. So, where it is that, the white people were repressing the other people, but it wasn't that the white people weren't doing it. The white people were being led by it's like there was an interference in the Wi-Fi between the higher self and the person, with their interference of their direction through all of their different programming and how they do it, and directing the influence through even the news, through culture, through societal norms in order to direct, uh, because it was not just white people, but also darker skinned people would feel repressed by the people. It was a whole set in a tone. It was a whole set of repressing certain people, keep them in poverty, give the other people loans, and they keep doing that kind of stuff. Somebody, Chinese person or something, was talking about that. Like they would give them all sorts of loans to start businesses, but they were only allowed to start them in darker skinned communities. They weren't allowed to start them in lighter skinned communities. So see, they were always, it wasn't like a certain group who made a decision for themselves. It was they threw in their, just like their space dust to interfere with our air. They threw in something to try and interfere with the society, because I think they're kind of scared of like the darker skinned people. I think they kind of are scared of that savage side of people, the part of them that animal side of them. It seems like they're scared of that, I think. And so they wanted to have more tamed, put these other people in who are more docile. Well, it was kind of um, that that kind of just this shallow, superficial to be the drive, but when they don't really have anything inside of them to really help them understand, no real strong cultural influence and stuff. So, uh, the- and there's something with the melanin in the blood too. Is it being some sort of a, communicator? So, anyways, whatever they did all that stuff, and it's coming out more and more. But it's going to be, as it flips around, it's going to be like the poor white people, like a bunch of just lab people. I got to come to terms with it, you know. But I definitely think there's some weird shit like about why, it's like they put out like a few of the same ones. And that would also, I bet there's a part of that DNA test that there's a little part that they don't send out to the rest of you. If you get my drift, you get my drift. They keep a little part to themselves. So there's got some other tracking that they're doing in this. So I don't know. We're all related somehow, probably, but it's an ancestral world. So. And we have a lot of people coming back on the main stage too. We got the Fraud. He's out there, and he's coming out hard too. CIA. He's been seen going in and out of the CIA. He was, yeah, he was paid to influence. So yep, we're gonna find all out about that. It's coming out hard, all at the same time of the Joe and Trump battle. And it's so funny too, because this whole thing is, try and get a mic in front of Trump's face as fast as possible to every single interaction, because he's already got this script's been hot on the press, man. Let's get this party started. He's got all this stuff to, get out there and get people thinking about. So he's got all sorts of stuff that he's just dropping all the time. It was so funny too how he even said motherfucker the other day. He goes, yeah, you get ahead of them in the points, and you are doing better than them in the polls. And then they're just like, then take down that motherfucker. I just like the way he's just so, yeah, I just imagine when he's not even trying to talk to millions of people, billions of people probably, that tune in to listen to that fella, is that he's so much just like the rest of us, I don't know. There's some adults who, though, are just like, are anti-cussing and stuff. I don't know how they get so offended by words, but if you speak them, you'll feel them. Like, that's the one thing that I thought was so about cuss words when I was younger, because we weren't allowed to say them for a long time. I don't even remember the first time I cussed in front of my mom, but it was like, ooh, I cussed in front of my mom. I said crap one time. I thought that was a cool word. I was like in 4th or 5th grade, and I walk in, and my mom's putting dinner on the table. I got slapped a lot, but I said, "What is this crap?" This goes boom right across the face. You don't talk like that. Yeah, crap's a bad word. It's like, okay. The So I don't remember when I first started cussing, but when I did start cussing, I was like, oh my God, it's like such a release. It's so different when you're having a hard time and you go shit like that, then you just go shoot. Like, it's very different. It's like it's a releasing the energy, those words, but you gotta say them in the right way. And, when you fuck, like, that really releases some energy, So, but I don't know those. But yeah, I was thinking about yesterday. There's a lot of people who've never even had an orgasm. Like, man, like that is, I just can't even imagine that. Like, that is an energy release. Like, if you have never had that energy release, like, oh my goodness. Uh, like, but there is, and there's people who are scared, of their own bodies and stuff. So it's all certain, it's all different levels. Everything is different levels. And this is what was really getting me too was that one girl who I keep talking about. It was like she was doing her whole breakup. It was very, very big public breakup. And then it was like, oh no, she made a mistake. She got back together, big public. Oh no, it's my man. It's the love of my life. And huge thing. And then it turned around and then it was like, nope, it was the worst thing I ever did was get back together. Now we're broke up for good. But it's this all day thing. It's just this all day thing that just keeps going and going for so long now. It's just so crazy how people just stay in the same energy. So many people stay in the same energy. And so she, uh, she, the whole thing with to keep trying to, I don't know, it's like entice men, get men's attention when it's easy. Like, it's easy to get men's attention, and they're not that particular. Like, yeah, if you're super, super hot, then you're going to get a lot of guys' attention. But if you are just regular and you take off, it is like strip poker or something, of how long does it take to get all the men's attention? When have you got their view? And so it just seems to be just such a focus. And I don't just see it as being like immoral. I see it as being not loving themselves, not caring about themselves, and keep going outside of themselves, trying to make themselves feel better about it. And so it makes me feel bad. I feel bad about it because I know what that's like. I know what it's like to not like yourself and to go outside of yourself to try and find somebody to make you feel better about yourself. So it makes me feel bad for them. But, it's something that, we got to talk about. We got to see it. We got to notice it as females. And I'm sure men have a way of doing attention seeking stuff too. But that is where you get these diagnoses of borderline, histrionic, and all of that stuff is this attention seeking behavior. And so, man, I've got this tight wheeze in my chest. I was so sick yesterday. I hope I didn't even drink any tea yet this morning because it was like right after I drank my tea, it was like the rest of the day, my stomach was just fucked. It was like, I don't ever get like indigestion or anything like that, but it was horrible. And it was like these horrible cramps and stuff. And I kept thinking, today I'll have to see how it goes. But I kept thinking, okay, this has got to be the poison. I was out working in the yard. I was digging stuff up. Yesterday when we went out walking, I could not believe how everything just looks like it's just splattered with Roundup. And it just freaks me out how just none of the neighbors, nobody talks about nothing. Everybody just goes about their day, goes about the business. And but had been out digging in the yard and cutting stuff and everything, so I breathed in a lot of stuff. And so then that's what I always start thinking. It's the toxins that are, attacking inside. I even took some a charcoal pill yesterday afternoon to see if that would do something. I chewed on mint leaves. It was, it was so horrible. It was so uncomfortable. And I kept burping and burping, but it was like right before you puke, how you start doing that. It just was all day. It was like horrible. It's kind of like scary to even take something in this morning, like, oh, is it going to start over? Like, what the fuck? But what was that? Because I was talking about the one thing. I don't even know how I went off on that. But because the breathing in my chest, because it feels tight. Like I definitely feel shitty. I feel super shitty. I was sneezing, and I just had, I don't feel good at all. A headache. And I know some people are all like, well, it's the ascension symptoms and stuff, but I don't feel like that's, and I've got joint pain and stuff. I always feel like it's the toxins. It's just, we have such a toxic environment, and then plus where I'm at, like I'm in fucking Washington State. It's like, I think that is a part of the whole thing here. It's just, it's all of the Democrat states, they just have things that are all passed, laws and stuff that are all passed. We're just very lab rat life. So anyways, I think it's toxins and stuff. But anyways, that's why I said it, because my chest is tight and I keep hearing it wheezing. And so let me think. So the girl, she kept doing, it's going to start already with this. Oh, my stomach does hurt. So this girl, she kept doing all these duets and stitches with all these cute guys. And then she'll even do ones like, she's hanging on their every word and stuff. And it's just like, oh my gosh, it's just embarrassing how. And then one day she did a video where it was like somebody had called her out, and she's like, she was laughing at him or something, like, oh my God. It seemed like it was like her ex. And like you think I'm trying to make you jealous or something. It was this whole public thing. And then that continued. But then it just, a lot of just playing music and dancing seductively, or laying in a position to make sure your cleavage is showing, and just look gazingly out as someone speaks words of intelligence behind you, of was the overlay voice or whatever. Just these videos that are just like, I don't know, mood. This is my mood. This is my mood. Just all day long, updating you on their mood or something. And so, anyways, it's been like, that's been her content as the content creator. She's got a pretty big following. And then she, but so the other day, it was yesterday, she was just very triggered. She was so triggered. She was on someone's live, and they were saying that if you want to, don't date, let's see, how did she say it? Because if you don't want to date yourself, then it's like you're undateable, which I think that. I've said that fucking whole fucking time. I'm so, like, yeah, you want to date yourself, like, what the hell are you putting out there? And hold on. Okay, come in, Stella. Come on. Come. I'm trying to do something. Come on. Come in the house. Get up. Come on, Queen. This is like my punishment for making out. Like, I need to lay and be quiet. And even if I get my phone out, anything I do is very disruptive to her. So she's got to, oh, we're getting up then? What am I supposed to do? God, I don't even want to get up yet. She just gets so bitchy. So anyways, so she was very offended by this video, or this live. This girl was talking about that, and she even says something to her like, yeah, Nikki, or whoever the girl is. Like, she's very, very bothered by this girl's perspective. And so you shouldn't be out dating unless you want to date yourself. And you should be out there getting yourself flowers. You should be out there taking yourself out to restaurants. You should be, loving yourself. And which I totally 100% agree. But she was so triggered. She was so irritated, that is the stupidest shit. Like, who wants to just buy themselves flowers? Like, why would you just, like, big deal. I could go buy some flowers for myself. Big deal. Like, why? That's not even fun. And why, if you want to go out to a restaurant, like, and she just started going off, I just switched it because it was just like, she just doesn't get it. She doesn't see, because it's not, it's about learning to love yourself. And she's in this huge struggle. Like, she's been in this back and forth with this person. And this is what everything is about learning to love yourself. Going and doing nice things for yourself is to just, because it feels good. It just shows yourself niceness. You don't sit there and see the flowers and go, well, I wish someone would give me flowers. You go, God, I love those flowers. I'm going to go buy myself flowers, and I'm going to put them up in my house, and I'm going to just look at them, and I'm going to enjoy how beautiful those flowers are. It's changing your attitude. It's not just like, well, I'd like to go to that restaurant, but, I guess I'll just wait and see if somebody invites me. No, it's like, I want to go to that restaurant. I'm going to go. Fuck, I'm going to take myself. Like, I'm going to go spend some money on myself. I'm going to go take myself and get exactly what I want to eat. I'm going to sit there and eat it at the speed I want to eat it at. I'm going to take a book. I'm going to, people do all different things when they go and eat by themselves. It is, and it can be super awkward to go eat by yourself. I think I had to start doing, I think when I was a traveling nurse, is that you have to eat somewhere all the time and you don't know anybody. So, but there was also a huge movement back, as I remember when my sister was like bragging about, like, I went to the movies by myself. Like, it was a movement where people started trying to do things by themselves. And maybe that's when they came in with, like, bring out the cocaine, line up the lines, let's get the cocaine going. They're thinking for themselves. They want to do something. And I guess I think that I don't know. It seems like it was a positive thing where people started being like, go to a restaurant by themselves and eat by themselves, go to the movie by themselves. They weren't always just sitting around waiting for somebody to take them somewhere, go somewhere with them. If they wanted to do something, they would just go do it. And that was very freeing for a lot of people. It was a big movement there for a while. And so it's just strange, when you hear her saying that, it just being so much of just not getting it. And it was like kind of confusing. But this is the backward way that our society thinks. It is just like, one person is replaceable by another person. Like, you just go out and you find somebody who just matches you for now. And that is what you're exactly doing. You're just going out and finding your match, but your match is going to be just as toxic as you. And if you don't even like yourself, if you don't even want to go and spend time with yourself, if everything you need, like, I love spending time with myself. Like, I swear I can get irritated, and I know other people who have spent a lot of time by themselves. Like, anybody who has spent a lot of time by themselves understand that when other people start wanting something from you, that can be more bothersome. It's like, wait, you're interfering with what I've got going on in here. Just let me finish my thoughts. It's when people start talking to you, it's like, they can be annoying sometimes. And so, but that is, that's one of the gifts, I think, of having any period of time of isolation or being on your own, getting to know yourself, is getting to get to that experience where other people are interrupting you. I've got a lot going on in here. Don't just be interrupting me, So, but when you were in that other state of mind, you're looking outside all the time. There's not a lot going on in there. And then when you do, it's things that make you feel bad. But see, when the things are in there making you feel bad, you got to talk yourself through them. Those are the things that you need to work on. You need to think about the things that are making you feel bad, not hide from them, not run and, fill them up with another guy. That's probably why she triggers me, is because I was always just jump from one relationship to another. It's just like, oh my God. And so it is, I know how toxic it is. I know you need time to heal in between. I know that you're not raising your vibration. You're just staying in this same, you're dating at your vibration. And if you don't feel good about yourself, you don't love yourself, you don't even see the point of spending time with yourself, then you are low vibration. It's just facts. Like, it's not like I'm trying to say something mean or something. If you don't love yourself, you're just not a high vibration. It's a higher vibration to love yourself. Love is a higher vibration than not love. It doesn't even have to be hate. Hate's a high vibration, but it's a high in the darkness. So it's deep in, but it's, an intense vibration. So that's what is the counterpart to love. It's the same intensity. That's why you want to heal your stuff, not be giving hate to, your dad, your mom, your sister, your brother, your ex, your whoever it is that has hurt you through your life, where you want to hold on to hate. You're That's a lot of energy that you're putting out to hold on to that hate, when you can just, walk yourself through it and find yourself in a place where you see that person was also victimized, that they just didn't have the ability to do better for themselves. They didn't have the ability to, uh, that's why I said a lot of these lessons are multi-generational. We can't put all the expectation on one person should have healed all this shit. It takes multi-generations to heal some of this stuff. So it takes all of us working together and doing our part. And when we see something, it's like we can see something, we can relieve something, we can change it, we can make it different. But it seems like that we get in this blame game of, well, it's their fault. Like, how far back are you going to go in your family's heritage to complain about the things that you deal with? Because you'd have to just keep going further and further. You can blame your mom and dad all day long, but it's not their fault either. So the same way you don't want to carry the fault, why should they carry the fault? Why should any of us, one person, carry the fault of a whole entire learning lineage? Is, that's where, when we all become more spiritually equipped, then we don't spend that energy in blame. You don't spend all this energy in hate. You can release it and let it go. It's like, why am I going to sit here and spend all this time hating this person when they couldn't do better for themselves? So now I'm just going to give them extra. They hate themselves already, so let's just join that party and let's hate them with them. It's like, is that really the kind of person you want to be? Somebody who puts all their energy towards hate, towards victim, towards, because then, you can get yourself into feeling better. You can feel better than that other person. That other person just a weak ass bitch. I'm so much better than them. I feel so much better than them. So, sit there and let that ego and that dark energy just keep you in division, keep you like divided, like where you think you're better than somebody. That's programming. That's the kind of stuff where you have to see, catch yourself, in when you're running programs, so that you can stop yourself and that you can change. Spend that time reprogramming. What is it you really want? What is the energy you want to put out into the world? How do you want to be seen? What do you want to be remembered for? What is the legacy you want to leave behind? What do you want? What energy do you want associated with your name? You know, is It's up to you, the individual. But that is, it is kind of trippy, though, how I think how it's going to turn around as these things kind of play out. Is that, the white people, where it was always that, the white people were trying to run the world or repress the world. We were just like the droids that were put out into the world so that they could try and control the world through us. And so it's just I don't know. It's a very other side of the coin, if you ask me. It's very, flipped. But, and then also, we aren't the ones that were right straight out of the lab. We do have still, we've got intermingled with other cultures. Because, like, got one grandpa who's from the Ukraine, but, I don't know, all them lab made. No, he looked more like, I don't know, he looked more like a tribe person. And then my other grandpa from Scotland, he didn't look like a tribe person. He looked like a movie star. He could have been fucking, maybe they first put him out in England and Scotland and Ireland, first start putting the white people. I don't know. I don't know. Because they definitely, over here, they used the Irish people as slaves, and they were really mean to Irish people for a long time. So, I don't know. There's always been all these cultural battles. That is one of the things about when they started mixing all the people. There was a constant culture wars and culture battles through with the different groups. Like, that was for such a long time too. It seemed like none of the groups mixed. It seems like that was in our lifetime where that became acceptable. Like, even a Jewish mom or Italian mom or something would freak out. A Catholic mom freak out if you would mix. So, now there's just so much mixing. But that's what I think that they were trying to do, was to go and, because they have a lot of things. They have a lot of things that they do to darker people. To mess with their hormones, mess with their culture, their dignity, like, so much stuff, man, that they do to just keep them beat down. Because, they were the kings and queens of this place. And then they just come in and beat them down. And I don't know, it's just sad. But really, the white people are just the little droid bitches of but they wanted to go further and further. Like, they weren't happy with us either. we weren't their perfect model that they were looking for. We still had a lot of defects. That's why they keep on going. They don't stop. And now it's like, they want just your consciousness in a synthetic, or they just want you to be willing to be sexless, genderless, cultureless, no identification. Just be a they them. Just be a they them. Just don't have any identity whatsoever. Just be a very vague, no connection to family, no connection to anyone or anything. That's how they would keep it. But anyways, with the thing where I was picking up on that, with that girl, I'm just thinking, no, you just got to get out there and date and go out and meet people. And it's just this very backward way that we understand about dating and stuff. But that dating pool of that mindset has a purpose of growth. Like I said, there's certain groups of people that all grow together in certain ways. So that dating pool thing, that is why it's so toxic. You have all these people out there who are using it to try and find themselves. They're using dating to try and make themselves feel better. They're using it, some people use it to fucking eat. It's a very used thing. There's tons of girls, and that's what that one city girl thing too is like. You laugh about that you're using people. It's not funny to use people. And there's people out there, who have no intention of liking a guy, don't have any interest in him, but go out and use them for meals and stuff. It's rude. It's rude. And people are out there dating. A guy's taking you out and trying to have a meal with you because he's trying to get some of your time. He's offering a meal so that you will spend time to get to know him. And if you have no intention of getting to know him, you shouldn't take the meal. Like, where are these people's morals? I don't get it. And you're just fucking with people's minds, fucking with people. But the dating pool is so toxic. You have people who have been barely broke up with somebody, who are out there just trying to find someone else to slide in bed sheets with, and they think that that is love. That's why, love, what we're going to see about love is going to be very different than what we've ever understood about love before. Because it was kind of like hate was what was the most focused on, and love was distortion. Like, so many people thought that they were in love, but it was never love. Love isn't what all these things are. Love isn't, it's like a different thing that was created. And we thought it was love, but it was all toxic. It was like a toxic blending of two people's energy. So I wouldn't call it love. It's a temporary feeling of recognition. Like, we're about to go into some really hard lessons together, aren't we? Like, it's going to be intense. But, that's what happens, because that's what the soul is there for. So you're going to go into those lessons with those people, and you're going to think it's love, but it's really a bunch of hard lessons. So, but that's where you get into that higher minded. Like, I know, and you work on yourself. You follow your dreams. You do what you're guided to do. You do all of the things what you feel you are in alignment with you. Then you're naturally, you will become in alignment with other people who are like that. You'll come into alignment with people who you're supposed to. It's a higher vibration way of dating or something. It is, you're not just going out and just trying to force things. You are just sitting back and relaxing and letting things come to you. Instead of trying to bring things to you, you allow things to come to you. So the energy will come to you when you're not trying to force it. But, it can take a while. It can take a long while. And people like lose faith. They don't trust it. But, the universe has its own timing. And, your ride, when you get on the ride, where each person's path you're going to cross is an exact moment in time. You can't change that. You can't influence it, because you would have to completely change every single person's life ahead, because that moment in time when you're going to interact, it's all exact. And so everything has its own time. And it's just so weird. It is like trying to talk of different ways of existence, because there's nothing wrong with the existence of the one type of learning. Like, it's all learning. No matter what, it's all learning. So no matter how you are learning, it is just like there's different levels of learning. And you can level yourself up when you recognize your own level. So if you have recognition of where you're at, you can level yourself up. So everything that you notice, you can change. You can make it different. You have the ability to do those things, to take those steps, to make those, go towards that. But it all is going to happen exactly the way it's supposed to happen, exactly in the time it's supposed to happen. Nothing has ever changed or influenced, because you're always going to cross paths with each and every person in every single bit of the day, of every single part of your life, every single interaction. And nothing is by accident. Nothing is just coincidence. It's all synchronistically set in advance. It's a part of the It's a part of the ride. When you're birthed in, you're like birthed onto the ride that is, everything is already in alignment. And there's nothing that you will ever do that's going to change it. You can't change it, even on the timeline thing. But the timeline thing is you have one timeline where you are just, it's like the victim mentality. It's just like you're out there, you got to get out there and date, you got to get out there and find the person, you got to, it's just a different way of looking at life. It's like you got to get out there and get revenge. It's like these people who think that they've got to do something in this world. It's just this victim mentality. That's the one timeline. Then when you realize how, whatever it is you realize, and you go on to the other one, where it is you go into sync with the universe, you go into trust. It's like a trust fall. It's like a rebirth to yourself. It's like, oh, I don't have to influence, I don't have to do all these things, I can just relax. But getting from one timeline to the next takes healing. That's where these people, these love and light people, the chosen, who think like you just jump on to the new timeline. No, you got to be on the new timeline is going to make you question yourself. You're going to question yourself all the time because you've got shit to heal, because you've got all the doubt, you've got all your insecurities, all of that part of you doesn't go away. Doesn't go away. Just like when this avatar ceases to exist, you don't go away. You're still standing there. It just, nobody else can see you because the picture is all we can see, because we are at a frequency to see the picture. So, but you're still there. You take your problems everywhere you go. You take your baggage everywhere you go. It's a part of you. If it dims your vibration, if it, holds you back from places you want to go in the universe, like you are the one in charge. There's no God's going to come fix it for you. Nobody can do it for you. Only you. Only you can do anything for you. So you are your God. There is no God above you. There is no God who can do anything. It's only you. And it's weird how these people keep wanting to just, they need a God. They don't even just need a God. They need an angry God. They need a God who wants to keep you in your place. And then to not even understand about, we didn't ever have to be dying. We didn't have to be dying. That was a part of the thing. We're going into more of our true nature. We're going into our true selves. We're going into this period of like godlike creatures, because we will understand that we are the energy. It is like, if it is our energy that we are able to shine that up more and be seen as who we're representing ourselves as, or however this is going to go. But it is, we're going into this transitioning into our higher selves, into being our more advanced selves, being our more evolved selves, emotionally, mature, spiritually, all of it. We're advancing, we're evolving. And so, these are huge changes, but you got to actually do work. It's not going to just happen by itself. You have to do, and doing the work should be the thing that makes you feel good. Like you're going to be proud of yourself. Like you did this. You made things better. You changed your life. You did it. And so it is a thing to champion yourself and feel good. That is the whole purpose of it. So you get to see how astonishing you are. And so as we're, transitioning into these astonishing eternal beings that we are, and that becomes our focus. But, no matter what, the more you become in tune with your higher self, the more you're going to see, like, these things are you. It's not just like this human body has these and you're going to die and you have no connection to that anymore. No, you are impacted. The life becomes a structure. It becomes what is that? It becomes a facet of the diamond. It becomes a facet of the jewel. This life experience becomes a part of you. It's a part of your shine, a part of how you represent. And so it is impactful in everything you learn and everything you grow has a significance to who you are as a soul. So nothing is forgotten. Nothing goes away by itself. It's your abilities to be able to manage yourself, and it's a big process. It's a big jump to go from I don't even believe I have a soul to, I've got to manage all this. I've got to try and make myself not follow impulses, not to just go with a hairpin trigger and react to everything, like I could manage this. Well, I think a lot of people are like, I don't want to do that. Like, that's work. I can just go about life just fine the way it is. But, there's some of us who know, like, we can improve our lives. We can make our lives better. We can feel better. We can have better relationships. And we don't want to have relationships with people who want to go around, just reactive in life, that just have no emotional context to control themselves. They just are out of control. They're angry. They're drama. They're this. They're that. They're just emotionally just a storm. And you know what? You got to sit sometimes in the storm, reel it in, and get control of yourself. But anyways, I do think, I don't know what Wall Street's doing. It's supposed to go, supposedly today, they were saying on that one Republic video or whatever, that was out this weekend, they said that the dinar was going to go up and the Wall Street was going to go down Monday and Tuesday. And then we're going to have the EBS thing, which Hawaii got 3 today. They said that they usually get them on Mondays, but they got 3. How is that? There was a Monday, but it was the 3rd. I see, they fuck with our heads with all these times, with days and times and stuff. Like, I don't, that doesn't make any, I don't know. I could be mixing things up. Because they said that they got it, that they usually get 1 a week on Mondays, I think. But then they got 3, but today's Tuesday. So they got 3 yesterday, but it's not due till tomorrow. Unless they got it today. Maybe they got it today. And it was 1 day ahead. Because that would make more sense. Or, I don't know. But anyways, they got 3 of them. And one of them said that to be prepared to get 14 days of supplies and be prepared for hurricane season. So they were making like a hurricane could come and you need to have 14 days of stuff. But anyways, the 14 days of stuff is what made me think of, like, I wonder if this is going to be a kind of thing to tell us that we're going to be locked down for 14 days. But remember, even if they do that, no matter what the excuse they use, it's to get things calmed down for the money crashing and stuff, to try and keep the peace. Because there's going to be people who are going to be freaking out, and there's going to be people who are going to be influenced to freak out. There's going to, I mean, they've got their instigators out there on steroids. Like I said, I knew that was coming. Like, they're just going crazy, just kidnapping kids. There's like groups of them kidnapping kids, like mental. And I heard that not just 15 kids were found now. It's like 900 kids were found in Hawaii. This is going to get, oh man, this is going to get so fucked. All those kids that killed their parents. Oh my God. This is fucked. And it's so weird too, how I kept seeing like there was an abrupt thing. It was like the kids went from one thing into another thing. And it kept seeming like it was like another energy. But yeah, that's what they obviously did. They just grabbed all those kids, killed their parents, and took them out to start selling them, and then steal the land for the rich people. It's like, God, they're so, these people are just so disgusting, I swear. But there's going to be so much stuff coming out, so much bad stuff. And, right now, Trump's making the big, giant thing about, he's just a person, and look at how he's being prosecuted, or all of this stuff that they're doing is, to all this big exposure of this dictatorship takeover that we're experiencing. Like, so all of that stuff that's got to be exposed, all this science stuff that's got to be exposed, all our history stuff, oh my God, there's so much. But anyways, the money thing, I feel certain is of what the money thing had done. So, and another thing too with this debt calculator. So the debt calculator came from somewhere else. It's not a government calculator. It was someone else who was monitoring the government's debt. Some, like, I don't know, Les Schwab. It wasn't Les Schwab, but it was some person. I don't know, like a professor at Harvard or something, who started doing it over the debt calculator or something. So anyways, this debt calculator goes managing so many different numbers. And there was something, I don't know if it was a Q drop or a comp by Trump or something, but there was things that were being said that was going to be October 1st, that the money thing was going to change. Or there were certain things, like these deadlines that keep being. And so that was going to be something about the money thing. But there keeps being all this different stuff about the money thing. And so then it was going to be, there was going to be a message on the debt calculator between 9 and 12 to show. And so then the whole thing went blank for a while. And then it went, now it's counting backwards, but it also had a scripture thing up there that is all about the money thing, about that it's the flipping. It's all of their stuff that they did, and the money's flipping. And so it's like some scripture that represents that. So I feel certain October 1st, it's already, but that doesn't mean like the house place is going to know yet. There's a lot of businesses, a lot of people who don't know what's going on. Like, I'm sure a lot of people still sent their house payments. They're sending their payments in just like normal, and they don't realize that's how much influence these bankers and this media and stuff have over people, that they can keep people jumping through hoops that aren't even there anymore. And so, but I don't think they've been there for a while. But now for sure, they've got nothing to stand on about the money thing. Like, I think they already got the bank set up on the quantum thing. I don't know what the deal is going to be. We'll see. Because it could be as cash comes in, they just confiscate it and it goes into quantum accounts or something. There's going to be a weird thing with however it is that they transition all this stuff to go. But however that is all going, I don't know. But I think that the debt is already gone, that it's going the other way, that whatever dramatic things are going to go on this week, there's going to be stuff dramatically going on, obviously, with the fraud. Gator Boy, he's out there all over the place. And Joe and Trump. So all of it is coming to a big show, a big thing, all these big headlines. And Oprah, these big headlines about, all this money now has disappeared. This $10 million that didn't even exist anyways, and disappeared. And she's going to run for the Senate too, or she's going to go for Congress or something. It's just, all of this stuff is just so absurd, so ridiculous. And it can really irritate you if you get too caught up in it. Got to remember, it's all part of the show. It's all just got to have it be the absurdity. It's got to be outrageous. It's got to be ridiculous. And that's, the stuff that gets people to wake up. But so this week, I think it's going to be big. But tomorrow, when they do that thing, I'm going to leave my phone on. I'm just going to see. Because if it does have something to do with, and if it doesn't, they could blast us at any time. They could blast us right now. They don't need to tell us. For them to tell and for there to get so much fear, it's like they want you to not listen. They want you to not hear. And then for all this to be going on with Nisara Gasara, it is like, I'm going to listen, you know. I'm just going to go and leave my phone on and see what happens. And I've got to go get some more water. I was thinking, I only have a little bit of cash. I was thinking, well, I should just go get Stella some meat. If we're going to be locked down, she won't make it. So I'll probably have to go get a couple things with my cash. And then it sucks because then it's like everywhere I go, I have to use so much gas. And then you're limited over where we can go. But if we're locked down for a while, then and all we have to do is have food. Then by the time that things came back, there'll probably be a way to get gas and stuff. Like, I definitely think if they lock us down, if something happens and they lock us down, it's for our safety and for the safety of the communities. It's not going to be to jail us and stuff. Like, because there'll be all people who will be freaking out. No matter what happens, they only can see the scary part. They can only see the dark part. They can only see fear. They cannot see anything good. You try and tell them, and they laugh at you. They think you're an idiot. They think you're stupid. You are, what is that? Opioid. They'll just say all sorts of stuff like that because they're so sure, you know, everything is going to go bad. So those people have got a lot to wake up to too. Like, that's going to be, like, I don't know. We got to just see, you know, what people leave and what people do wake up. How many things were too hard to wake up from. It was just like, fuck that. Like, the world flips upside down. I was more comfortable with it upside down, and they'll just all be leaving. And I think that those videos of all the people disappearing, I don't know. It seems kind of like somebody's making those videos or something. They're weird, or they could be out of a movie and someone's found it. I don't know. It's just weird, because why isn't it just nonstop then? If people are just disappearing in groups, it should just be, it wouldn't be just so spread out. It would be way faster. So I think that is something that people are just trying to cause chaos and stuff. And that's not a good energy to be putting out. I wouldn't be putting out any kind of energies like that. You want to be trying to put out more calming energies. Go with that kind of, you know, as we're going, it's like these two energies, and you choose which you're going to support. And, you know, to love and calm and those ones, instead of the ones that are all about divide and hate and conquer, and so much of that out. And then they all think they're doing the right thing. They all think they're doing the right thing. And what they need to do is all go out there and join hands with these fucking immigrants and sing kumbaya. And it's really weird too is how many more just keep coming? Like, they're emptying whole cities out. I'm telling you, it's got to be something about not just overrunning America and Americans and all, because it's in other countries too that they're doing this. It has got to be about evacuation. It has got to be about that there's some bad storms coming. There's some places that are going to be underwater. Like Indonesia, it was really bad. Like, I think they've got to be moving people. And if they were taking all the men from all these places and only leaving women in these places to just die, that doesn't make any sense. There has got to be, you know, a lot of other people coming, because there would be no men left in any of these places. If there was all these people or just all men. So I know that there's tons and tons where there's tons of men. I know there's tons and tons where there's tons of criminals. I know they brought all those Venezuelan jail guys over here, but they have, and you know, and now the cops are at battle with them. Now there's a whole thing about they've got to show their tattoos. Like, all that stuff is just going to get more violent and shit in the cities, because there's definitely the criminal ones that are here for that. But I still think that there's a lot who are being put here is some sort of a an unpanicked evacuation. And but it is the challenge for the people to connect as humans with all the other people, to come together and get over their fear, over their, thought of there's not enough resources, there's not enough of this. It's all programming fear. And so, if the people all would go out and start coming together and singing Kumbaya out there, then the influencers would know it's over, it's done. There's no, we won, but they're still going to keep the people fighting for however long. I don't know. So we'll see. Surely, when people start having more money in their bank accounts, they'll figure out other things to do besides sit and be scared. Surely they'll start, but there'll be people who will say, there's going to be a lot of negative stuff about all the different things. Like just that woman who was doing this whole preach thing, there will be this time where we're at, where these people are going to start singing their gods and they're going to start using technology to stay alive and stuff. It's like, no, they were using technology to kill us. We don't need to fucking die. So, anyways, it just is, it's weird how these people try and market themselves as the most spiritual. Well, they don't even, they're religious. Spiritual is different. They think that they're closest to God through their religion, and they're so repressed, and they're so happy being repressed. Like, how dare you think you're something more than a peon, a fucking sinner, you damn sinner. Anyways, how long have I been talking? I've been talking long enough, probably. Hopefully, it means. And Terry, I'm not sure. I was asleep, but I'm here. But I wasn't sure if you were trying to ask me something. Hopefully, you're doing okay. So, one thing too, through this stuff, I think it is really helpful while you're trying to heal is journal. Journal, write your feelings down. It will really help you get them out. So just journal. You don't have to you don't have to overthink what you're going to write. Just start writing your spirit. Like there's the whole thing. You'll just start writing just words will start coming out. So just, if you're having a hard time or anything, get a journal. You don't have to buy a journal. You can buy fucking spirals. I've written in spirals. You can draw. There's all sorts of things you can do. It's releasing this energetic release of energy, thought processes and stuff. So anyone who's struggling, get some spirals and stuff and some pens and write or draw or get your emotions out of you somehow. But you can also write in them if you're, very formatted. You can really write them and keep a really good journal process through it. You may be able to even help. I think that's why some of these other people have written these journals to help, because there's journals out there that will help you. But that's that person, what they went through. And you could go through different steps. So you journaling for yourself and you tracking it, you can even help another person, because everybody's going to go through different steps. But anybody's journal, if it can help you, whatever anyone has gone through, it's just like reading their stuff. So any of those kind of things, self-help books, all of that stuff. But definitely whatever you're going through, journaling. But bet your ass somebody else in the world has gone through what you're going through. Somebody else out there has talked about it, and you're not alone. You're never alone. No matter how much you feel alone, no matter how much you feel abandoned and beat down, you aren't. You have all sorts of beings around you that you can't see. And you have, just whatever. You're never alone. I feel like I'm just hitting into a brick wall. I feel like I've got really bad headache up in here too. Yesterday it rained all day. It was so dark. They definitely didn't even try and pretend like we had a sun yesterday. So I don't know. Today is supposed to be nicer out. But then, see, they go and they wash all this shit down in, and then you go outside, and then you breathe it all in, and then you feel like shit. It's like, fuck, going outside should be making you feel better. And it can make you feel so sick. It's fucked. So I just hope that this week is, I just feel like it's going to be such a positive. Once the banking thing goes, once the money, even if however it plays out, it's really going to be such a positive thing in turning us in the other direction. And then I think at the same time, we're going to have, I mean, they're really bringing this to a head with this Joe and Trump thing. So, and there's so many people they're bringing up onto the stage now to go down. Like they're all going to go down together. So, anyways, just keep, keep your faith. Keep just and trust yourself. Spend time with yourself. Go in and talk to yourself. Write notes about it. Take notes when you talk to yourself. But that is an important relationship. That's the one you really need to be focusing on now, and it will give you back. It will help you understand what's going on, and help you through it. So more than me or more than anybody, you can help yourself, but you got to get in contact with that side of yourself. And there's a lot of sides of yourself, so it's some work. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.